Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
And as we've heard, the election result means Jeremy Rockliff is the only Liberal state or territory political leader in the country. Tasmanian Labor is hoping mainland results will be replicated here in 2 years' time.
The small blue blip in a sea of red. With Chris Minns' victory last night in New South Wales, all mainland state and territory governments will be Labor-held, a point not lost on our Liberal government.
I trust Tasmanians to make a judgment based on how they see their state going. Our state's going strong at the moment.
Local Labor hopeful for its ambitions of government following the interstate victory.
We're very excited about the result last night. We congratulate Chris Minns. We've been watching him closely.
With the state election only 2 years away, Tasmanian Labor admits it has to win back voters' support. The party's national executive took control of the branch last year after allegations of disunity.
We're obviously hoping to see the momentum that we're building continue to grow over the next 2 and a bit years into an election.
The Liberals not convinced.
Labor in Tasmania could take a leaf out of Dom Perrottet's book and take a break out from talking the place down.
Until then, business as usual for Tasmanian politics. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
Calls to investigate the state of harness racing in Tasmania are ramping up amid concerning allegations in the industry. There's a push for widespread change, with state politicians questioning the integrity practices behind the scenes.
Standing united back in December, members of the harness racing fraternity expressed fears about integrity in the sport to 7 Tasmania News. Fast-tracked now, and it continues to be hit with opposition.
This industry needs cleaning up. Are Tasmanian taxpayer dollars being used as part of race fixing? That's an interesting question, and we'd like the Minister for Racing to answer that.
The Shadow Racing Minister speaking out and slamming the office designed to uphold standards on the track.
They are the most serious of allegations that have been made by the industry itself because they've lost confidence in the Office of Racing Integrity to do its job. I think there is now a case for an inquiry.
Addressing concerns around fixing results, the Office of Racing Integrity pointed to provisions that prohibit collusion between participants and may affect the credibility of racing in Tasmania.
We'll let the Office of Racing Integrity do its job. There are mechanisms in there for people to appeal its decisions if they want to.
Look, frankly, that's nowhere near enough. This is a racing code that's in crisis.
Work is now underway on an equine welfare code of practice, following a review of industry rules, with a set of minimum standards for the care of thoroughbred and harness racehorses to be laid out.
We're a long way behind, not only in our legislation, but in our welfare awareness within the community.
Urging leaders to push for real change.
Our Act is actually dated 1995. That's a long time ago, and things have changed a lot in that period.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
Witnesses to a road rage incident in Gagebrook last night are urged to come forward. Police received multiple reports about a white Holden Rodeo ute and a black Mitsubishi Lancer on the East Derwent Highway just before 7 o'clock. The ute's driver door window was broken in the incident, while the Lancer was last seen in the Risdon Vale area. Anyone with information can contact Crime Stoppers. Around 20 kilograms of cannabis worth $150,000 has been seized during a vehicle search at the port of Devonport last night. Police say the drugs were concealed in a ute trying to board the Spirit of Tasmania. A 49-year-old Mowbray man who was driving the vehicle has been charged with trafficking in a controlled substance. Fire investigators are working to determine what caused a blaze that destroyed a house at Allens Rivulet early this morning. The fire services says the occupants managed to escape because of a working fire alarm, and there were no reports of injuries. Meanwhile, a Sorel petrol station had a close call early this morning after its display sign caught alight. An on-site worker reported the blaze at around 6:30 with a crew of 4 from the local fire brigade arriving on scene in 6 minutes. The chief officer says the fire was not suspicious and was likely caused by an electrical fault. Devonport's foreshore has roared to life for the city's annual motor show. Thousands of car lovers were able to get close up to a host of rare and valuable vehicles at the much-loved event.
Devonport's motor show proving to be a well-oiled machine, driving car enthusiasts to distraction for its 17th year.
People who own cars love showing to other people. That's just what they like to do.
The iconic event attracting at least 5,000 people and more than 500 cars.
And it's amazing what comes out of garages that are in our local community as well.
From new to not so new and downright antique, the showcase proving prime time for Philip Week's prized Packard, the 1926 model making something of a homecoming.
My grandfather bought it in 1947 for £17. He bought it here in Devonport and it had been cut into a ute then.
Brought back to its former glory, it took an entire second car to rebuild. The event also giving motorbikes and trikes space in the spotlight.
I brought the Irving Vincent team over I'm Victorian.
Welcome.
While others just enjoyed their time in the sun.
Yeah, just laying back, watching the people go past and that. Yeah, no, they put on a good effort today. They really have.
Annie Green, 7 Tasmanian News.
Tasmania has recorded more than $4 billion of annual construction work, according to Master Builders' snapshot for February. The company hoping to keep that momentum going with $28 billion worth of infrastructure projects in the pipeline.
We need to build 3,100 houses a year, each year, for the next decade. Now, to do that, we'll need a workforce of over 40,000 by 2035.
The government's High Vis Army program helping to attract, train and retain skilled workers. Sustainable Living Tasmania has celebrated its 50th birthday with a weekend full of tips and tricks to take care of the planet. A range of stalls, talks and displays were on offer, including this cooking demonstration using electric vehicles' battery to whip up a storm.
We're using more of the Earth's resources than the Earth can replace.
It doesn't have to be, reusable products all day, every day. If you can only manage one, it's better than none.
The event was free to the public. Organisers say they're thrilled by the number of attendees that poured in. To local cricket first, and the University of Tasmania has fallen to Lindisfarne in the Cricket Tasmania Premier League final at Blunston Arena. Jack Freeman getting bowled out by Tim Payne, his innings finishing with 9 runs. Despite that, Lindisfarne won the match by 132 runs. While in the Cricket Northwest final, Ulverston has claimed back-to-back premierships against Wynyard on first innings by 17 runs. Captain Alex Winwood was named the Dale Baker medalist for the best all-rounder in the match. It was a strong showing of drivers this afternoon at Heat 2 of Rally Launceston. Lewis Bates and his co-driver Anthony McLaughlin led the pack after 12 stages. Tasmanian Eddie Maguire finished on top in the Production Cup standings, while Benjamin Hayes was first in the two-wheel drive cup. And round 1 of the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup has concluded at Medina today. In the EDR Men's, Australian Luke Meyer-Smith has been named the Medina World Cup winner after 6 rounds, while in the Women's, French rider Isabeau Couderier took out the top spot.
Good evening. Hobart reached 17 today, 21 the top for Launceston, Devonport 19, 18 in Burnie. Bushy Park, the state's top at 23, 21 for Grove, Low Head and Flinders Island both at 19, 17 at Lyowini, 15 the top on King Island. Low level cloud off the northwest coast today, mostly clear elsewhere until some high level cloud drifted across the state. Extensive cloud stretches from WA all the way over to the southeast, clearer skies for the northern and central parts of the country. A high will pass over the state tomorrow and a broad trough extends from WA down to Victoria. Southwest to southeasterly winds of 10 to 20 knots, tending to a more 15 to 25 in the evening. Swells reaching up to 3.5 metres about the west and south. Bit of rain around the state tomorrow. Hobart 18 and a shower or two. A late shower or two for Dover, 19 the top for Ooze. A shower or two across the north. Launceston 21, 20 for Devonport and Scottsdale. Stanley and Burnley, rain increasing and 18, 19 and a shower or two for Strawn. Some showers developing for St Helens and Ross, both 19, 17 and showers for Swansea. Tomorrow's UV will remain at a moderate 5 with the sun setting at 7:14 p.m. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast now, showers on Tuesday, more likely about the north and the east. Wednesday, showers contracting to the west and south in the evening, and more showers for the west and far south on Thursday. Across the country tomorrow, 31 the top for Cairns and Brisbane, Sydney a shower or two and 29, showers in Melbourne, 23 in Adelaide, a partly cloudy 27 for Perth. Right now in Hobart it's 14, Launceston 17, Devonport 15 and Loo. Looks like we're in for a bit of a wet week ahead.
It sure does. Thank you for that, Vic. And that wraps up your news for this Sunday evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Enjoy your evening and good night.